awesome. That's awesome. We're going live, everybody. Look at that. We're live on YouTube. It's Michelle Helen here from Atlantic Canada Cooks. Good morning, Shinobu.
Good morning.
We are always excited on Sunday mornings. You know that. But you know what? Today is all about coffee. And what gets more exciting than having a good cup of Java, as we say? One fun fact, we're going to get right into some recipes here today, but a really fun fact about coffee is coffee next to water is the second most consumed drink in the world. I found that amazing. Shinobu, I thought it was going to be tea, but it's actually coffee. And I love it. We've got Shinobu here from Japan and one of my favorite people in the world who's going to be coming in to talk a bit about Vietnamese coffee. And we haven't seen her in a while, Christina Pam. And Christina's from Vietnam. Over 4 years, Christina, you've been coming in and sharing your amazing food culture in Vietnam. And I have to say, we've got many mutual friends. I was so excited when I learned about coffee culture in Vietnam. It's a big deal. And actually, you do some unique things with coffee. So we're going to be excited. Christina's joined by her sons. We love having kids here. Hey, guys, I remember seeing you when you were in Vietnam. So this is amazing. And look how much bigger they are. I figure I don't get older, so I'm not sure how other people do. So, and what keeps you young? Eating healthy and putting the right things in your body. And I love talking about coffee today because coffee is good for your heart. Coffee is good for your skin. It's good for your hair. Mom, you're so right. It's really good for your liver. And coffee grinds are good for your garden. Coffee is like a superpower. So I'm going to make sure my kettle's boiling over here. And I'm going to get my day started with getting some things going with a French press. So what I'm going to be featuring today is a really cool recipe for brownies infused with coffee. So these are going to be absolutely delicious. It's a sweet potato brownie I've made before. I was touring. There's so many coffee shops here. And I want to say hi to coffee shop number 9 in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. Shinobu and I have been there a few times. We love that little place. They have amazing food. My mother's not the biggest coffee drinker, but she loves the flavor of coffee and things.
Some stuff.
So some stuff, let's be positive.
I love the smell of coffee.
Yeah, so when she walked in, she's like, smells good in here, Michelle. Yeah. This smells amazing. This is from a wonderful place here in Moncton. It's called Down East Coffee Roasters. And look at the flavor. This is Guatemala and Antigua. And we've had our friend Sheena come on from Antigua before. She's coming in next week to cook with us. And they're all carefully sourced. And I think it's really important about sustainability with coffee in the world. So great to hear. So we're going to be featuring them. And of course, it wouldn't be a Canadian show if I didn't talk about Tim Hortons for a second. Christina knows this. She's seen the Tim Hortons signs everywhere. And I have a little decaf in here. This is actually an instant coffee. So you just pour, stir, and off you go. And I used some of this in my first recipe. So we're going to be featuring brownies today. We're going to be doing some vegetables. We're going to be doing some carrots and beets. And one of mine and Mom's favorite is some very good steak. And these beautiful, very thinly sliced strip loins we picked up at the Meat Boys yesterday at the farmer's market when we were going to see Luis, and we ate our empanadas. So you're not going to see our empanadas this week. They were delicious as always. Thank you, Luis from Deli Sur, Canada. But we stopped by to see the Meat Boys. These are beautifully marbled. You're going to see in here, they're lean with a little bit of marbling, but they're sliced quite thin. And we're going to be seasoning these. And I'm actually going to start and season my steaks because we want them to sit for about 30 minutes before we actually cook them. And then we're going to stir up these brownies, Mom. So, Mom, you and I have done this with steak before. And what I am going to do is I'm going to start with your basics here with our steak. And we're going to put some salt and pepper. And when it comes to beef, I find you just season the meat. So you want to get that seasoning right against the meat. And I know I have lots of my Baker rub and smoke. Oh, there's my open one. We love talking about local products across Atlantic Canada. And our really good friend Stephen at Baker Rub and Smoke, and we talk about this. It's up in the northern part of the province of New Brunswick, right up near the Quebec border. It's Baker Lake.
Baker Lake, just past Edmonton.
Yeah, and Mom used to travel there when she was younger. So I am going to take some of this rub, and I'm just going to get a little dish. It's going to be, the spoon is perfect, Mom.
Saves the
And
fingers.
what we're going to do is we're going to take a couple of teaspoons of this because we have 2 steaks here. I'm going to give you that out of the way. And I'm going to take some of that instant coffee. And I'm going to put it in with my spice mixture. Now you can use whatever unique spice mixture you're looking for. But I am now going to stir this together. So you're putting your coffee with your steak spice. So if you have a favorite steak spice that you like to use, you can use that. I'm running my spoon along the back of my bowl because I just want to kind of crush the grains a little bit. Unlike regular coffee grains, the instant coffee ones will crunch up a bit. So we put our salt and pepper on, and Stephen's got such amazing spices already in here. There's some paprika, there's some garlic, there's a little bit of brown sugar in this. So there's going to be a little bit of sweetness from the coffee rub that's inside of it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle that across our steak. And because the steak's going to sit for a little bit before we look at the coffees right in there, Mom, look at that.
Missed the spot. She missed the spot.
So you can see this side. I'm going to flip these steaks. Mom, you want to grab me a fork?
Oh.
And what you're going to see is the moisture. Thanks, Mom. And you can see the thickness of those steaks. They're nice and thin. They're going to be a nice fast fry for us. But the flavor, because they're a thinner steak.
Smell it.
Right?
Yeah.
As soon as I flipped it over, she could smell it. The steak is going to take the flavor of the marinade or this rub on really quite quickly because it's a thinner steak. So this is kind of the goal that we have. And the really deep flavor of beef and the strength of coffee blend really, really well together. So people like Mom that aren't necessarily coffee lovers, it is a really great flavor. So we need some more cracked pepper in that because the pepper actually balances the coffee quite well. So I put pepper and a little bit of salt. Doesn't that look good? They already look good and they're not even cooked.
Oh, they smell good too.
Look at those. Right? So these we're going to put on at the end to sear. Where am I going to set them? I'm going to set them right here so Michelle does not lose her steak. So let's get these brownies ready to go into the oven, Mom. I've got a metal bowl right here. The oven's on. And I'm going to take a sip of my lovely coffee.
What do you want, this bowl?
Perfect. And a spatula. This bowl, this, and a spatula. So these brownies are really quite easy to do. So we're going to measure out, and I'm just going to double check my ingredients here, and I got this one right. I love how healthy these brownies are. We have sweet potato, mashed up, pureed, but it looks a little dark, doesn't it? And there's a good reason for this. When I cubed my sweet potato up into small sizes, and instead of water, I used coffee. So I cooked the sweet potato. I could see Shinobu nodding. Shinobu, I can eat this. It's delicious. So I cooked the sweet potato in the coffee. And when you're making a puree, you keep a lot of your liquid to mash it together. So we're going to put, there we go, a nice full. So 1 cup of that deliciously infused sweet potato. And when you think last night I was worried I didn't have enough sweet potato, this was 1 potato. So we're going to put the sweet potato in the bowl. And now we're going to add our other ingredients here. And what I do love about this is it's a really healthy dish. So the other ingredient is going to go into this is going to be 1.5 cups of nut butter. And we've been bragging about Nutsmith from Windsor, Nova Scotia. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a combination. And right here, look at that, isn't that beautiful? Pouring out nice, smooth peanut butter. I am going to use a cup of peanut butter and I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of almond butter. So especially if some people have people in their family that have some allergies to peanuts, because remember we talk about peanuts go on the ground and almonds are a tree nut and they grow on a tree. So next ingredient, so look at that. I got peanut butter everywhere. We're going to put 1 cup of peanut butter. And I know I have my almond butter here. That looks perfect. It already smells amazing. I say I have my almond butter. There it goes. We know Michelle was going to misplace something. Mom, it's got a green label and it's right here. Ah, couldn't be more in front of me. So, I wish we had smell-o-vision because the smell of that is amazing. So I am going to put a 1/2 cup of almond butter. And now you can flavor these brownies any way you want. You could use hazelnut butter, cashew butter, whatever you like, as you like. So we're going to combine this into here. And it's so interesting because this is, every time I've made this, and we started making this a few years ago. Yum. Put that spoon over here. We're going to put some maple syrup. Now, I know many of you don't have maple syrup. That's okay. Use honey. Use honey in here. And again, we're going to use, find that same measuring cup. We're going to use a 1/2 cup of syrup. And I'm suggesting that you use honey as a replacement because we're keeping this natural, right? That's the thing about this particular recipe. Well, I say that. And my final ingredient is chocolate. So yes, it's natural, but it's a little bit of fun. But we need to put some cocoa powder in there because we need these to be brownies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. So cocoa powder is a dark powder. And I know that I've got my mother narrating behind me telling me how much to put in my recipe. So we've got some cocoa powder in there. But in this bowl, we've got these beautiful little dark chocolate. There's 72% dark chocolate. I cut up 2 of these inside of this bowl. And we're just going to add some of those dark chocolate chunks because we all know that's going to be really good with that dark chocolate in there. So that's really it. Remember, we put the coffee at the very beginning in with the sweet potato. But what I thought I would do, and I'm using the instant coffee for this, is I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of instant coffee into the mixture. Because we really want these to have that chocolatey, creamy coffee flavored. Now, I love ice cream. I don't get to eat it often. And my favorite ice cream is like a mocha fudge with chocolate, like a chocolate mocha fudge. So you're going to see this mixture come together quite well because most of the ingredients are liquidy. So it is a fairly liquidy mixture. If you're using a denser or thicker peanut butter, you might find this a little harder to stir. Cocoa's always fun. So we're going to get this into the pan and we're going to get this into the oven because this is going to take about 35 minutes. And we want to show you these beautiful brownies. But while I'm getting this mixed, get my exercise this morning, we're going to go over to Christina Pham and her family. And we're going to ask them a little bit about, to start to tell us a little bit about some Vietnamese coffee and how important coffee is in that culture. And then we're going to come back over to Mom and I, and we're going to continue to build a couple of our recipes. Now, this is all incorporated together. You can see the nice, rich, dark color. It smells amazing. And I've got a glass baking dish. And on the bottom, I used some parchment paper. It just makes life easier so things don't stick. And for all of I even see some of our guests nodding their heads. We know this. We do not want, that is not stable, Michelle. And to get a more stable base for this, we'll use the base of my mortar and pestle, which is, there we go. So we're going to get this into the pan. And I see Christina's just coming back. And she's going to tell us a little bit about, oh yeah. And what I love about these brownies is don't tell anybody when you make them that it's sweet potato until after they've had them and went, ooh, these are delicious. So, because it's interesting, look at the chunk. People just expect it to be full of flour and sugar. So thank you to whomever made this recipe. I found it on the internet. You'll be able to find it on the internet. But you'll also be able to find it right on Atlantic Canada Cooks. So Christine, I see your beautiful face back. So let's talk a little bit about Vietnamese coffee. Show us a few things and tell us what's going on there while Mom and I get ready for our next
Yeah,
recipe.
this is my pleasure, Michelle. Because I really love coffee. I already told you at the beginning. I use coffee today, and I have just prepared some of the chili. Today, I want to make chili with coffee. And with chili, I also use Vietnamese chili that is also from Vietnam. That is a very popular chili in Vietnam. And I also use coconut cream, condensed milk. Okay, and at the beginning, I prepare some chili. So you can have a look here. I have some chili with condensed milk first, and then I need time to make it harder. Yeah. So yes, and then we will have many layer. The first one is the coconut cream, and the second condensed milk, and the next one coffee. Yes, and coffee is one of the very popular in Vietnam. Most of the people, we have many type of coffee. Yes, and most of the people, especially the old people, or yeah, they have the habit of drinking coffee every morning. And nowadays, lots of people, especially also the young people, they go to Starbucks. In Vietnam, we also have Starbucks, and we have many local of many range of Vietnamese coffee. Yeah, I am sure everyone loves coffee. So I will wait for my chili. Okay, and then I will come back. And then it will show you how is it.
That's perfect, Christina. Thank you so much. I did taste the brownies before they went in the oven. Wow. I could probably just eat a bowl of that sweet potato that way. And remember, everything in it's already cooked. So I know those are going to be delicious. We have a saying on Atlantic Canada Cooks, when you start with good ingredients, you're going to get good results. So I did. I did not.
Oh,
I did not. Good one, right, Mom? Put timer
time
on.
those brownies so they don't burn.
There we go. We've got the timer on.
Oh.
So the next recipe that we're going to do, and it's interesting because you don't always think about how do I put coffee, and we always think sweet. We have our brownies in the oven, and we love local. So Lewis Mountain Farms, we want to give a hello to them, and they're at the Moncton Farmers Market. And we've got some beautiful, fresh local carrots. We get these little baby carrots. So we've got these here. Some of them were a little thicker, so I cut them in half. But some of them are small, so I left the carrots whole. And then on this side, we have some beautiful beets. So I love beets myself. Beets are so healthy for you. That dark color, antioxidants, really healthy. Carrots are as well. They're both a root vegetable, which means they grow in the ground. And they're both a really hard vegetable, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, I know, I love them.
these are so delicious because they're new carrots and they're super sweet. I'll keep that one off to the side and snack on it. So I have these in a baking pan, and on the bottom of the pan, I put again a piece of parchment. And there's a little bit of olive oil underneath them. What I'm going to do, and you don't want to overcrowd your pan, so you want to make sure you have a little bit of space, because what we want to do is we're going to roast these in the oven. We're going to put them in with our brownies. And when the brownies are done, we're going to turn the oven up really high so that we can get a nice crispy roast on these vegetables. And so what I'm going to add to the top of these right now is a few things. We're going to knock a couple of things over while we're at it. So we're going to add a little bit of olive oil that we're going to drizzle across the top. And what I've got behind me, so Mom, we're going to keep an eye, is that simmering?
Oh,
So
Yeah.
behind me, we have some balsamic vinegar, just a regular balsamic vinegar.
yeah.
Okay. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of that instant coffee. And ooh, that smells awesome. So the balsamic vinegar, that's it in the pot, is simmering. And I added a tablespoon of instant coffee. And what Mom's doing over there now is she's letting that simmer. And we're going to let that reduce a little bit. And we're going to use that as a drizzle over the top of these carrots and beets. The other thing I'm going to add while we're waiting for that, it doesn't take long, is thyme. We were making, my Aunt Greta is in here today from Fredericton. And she was coming in and I said, I'm just going to get some more thyme. It's a good play on words. So THYME, the herb. And over the last 4 years, thank you so much for our guests that continue to come in. You would know that it is Michelle's favorite herb. And the other reason why it's really great for baking, and I'm going to use 2 sprigs I picked in my garden. And if you just kind of pull thyme off, all the little leaves come right off. Thyme is very good at high temperatures in the oven. So if I was going to use basil on this, which I don't think I'd care for the flavor, with basil, the basil would burn. So this is just something important when you're roasting vegetables, is to choose those heartier herbs. And I will show you how much time I put across this. Looks perfect. And I want you to see, because this is something that most of us have all these ingredients at home. So you'll be able to put that together. I'm going to put some salt and pepper. Some nice fresh cracked pepper. Because that makes everything better when roasting. It already looks pretty. And I'm going to finish this dish off with some great cheese. And it's going to make that amazing. How's it smell?
Smells delicious.
Looks good. We're just letting that reduce a little bit more because I want it to be more, a little thicker, like a syrup. So it sticks to the top of the vegetables. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the oven, and halfway through the cooking, I'll take it out and do a little bit more with it. I'm going to use this here. Now that smells amazing. So there's how it looks. You can see in the bottom of the pot where it's now creating a coating.
Spoon for it.
So that's probably a good idea. Yeah, that's
Um,
got it a little bit thicker on it. That's good, Mom.
Oh, yeah, it has.
So we're gonna splash this across. I have to say, it looks like I'm drizzling chocolate sauce on it.
Yeah.
Which again, it's kind of funny in your head because you now look like you're drizzling chocolate sauce across vegetables. But and we'll add just a little bit more of that later. Remember how sweet the carrots are? So this little bit of balsamic with coffee, yeah, see that, Mom?
Yeah,
And you can see on the bottom of the pan,
yeah.
you see that line? We'll draw a happy face on it for everybody. You're able to see Chernobyl laughing. And this actually looks so pretty already. Those wonderful colors and those wonderful flavors. So that's going to go into the oven. I'm going to get that put into the oven now. And then Mom and I are going to start to look at a few other things. Christina, give me a wave when you're ready to update us.
Yes, this time I already finished with the coconut cream and condensed milk. Now this time I'm making with coffee, the layer of coffee. So for jelly, it needs about here the jelly. Making the jelly, so it need time. And yeah, this is very popular. Jelly coffee is a very popular dessert in India. Most of the people love chili because we come from the tropical country, so the weather is so hot. So we usually use something like cool to eat. So chili is one of the choices. And just like the kids also really like chili. Yeah. And so you can see like some of the and with the chili we can make with every ingredients, with many ingredients. We can use coffee, Milo, condensed milk, coconut cream, or everything, or strawberry, chocolate, everything. Yeah, and chili is one of the very popular dessert in Vietnam. And Michelle, I really appreciate all of your cooking clubs. You have a lot of amazing recipe to share with everyone. It's amazing. I remember we had been so for more than 4 years, right? And you always make me surprised with all your recipe. It's amazing. I really love it.
Well, thank you, Christine. And we have cooked over 1,200 recipes.
Yes, I can see that. It's amazing.
And you have taught me so
Yeah.
much about Vietnamese technique and different things. And I have to thank you for that because I learn from many of our guest cooks on
Yeah.
how to make different things. And next week is noodles, everybody. So I'm hoping Christina
I
will
hope,
come in and show us
yeah,
some
I hope one
noodles.
day you can go to Vietnam with us, with me, and then I can
100%.
introduce you all of, yes, for sure. And then I can introduce you all of the food street and restaurant in Vietnam. It's amazing. We have very special technique for cooking in cooking. Yes, and especially street food. We have maybe thousand of type of food on the food street. It's really amazing.
Well, I want to learn how to make noodles. But right now we're
Yeah.
gonna take this French press. And I just realized today's not a good day for Michelle to be wearing black. So here, many people see, and many people use regularly a French press. Because when you use a French press, you're gonna get really that authentic, slow pull of the coffee out. Oh, look, I already have a spoon in here. So in the bottom of my French press, so I'm going to make enough. So I'm going to use about 3 tablespoons of the ground coffee per cup. So I know Mom's not going to be having a cup. So I'm going to make this, I'm going to make enough for 2 cups of coffee for Michelle. So we'll put, there we go. So using a French press is funny because I have a lot of my friends that use them all the time. So you've got the bottom, you see you've got your coffee grounds in there, and I'm just gonna grab my boiling water. And I know that I put enough for 2 cups in here, which is gonna take this up probably to about here. And one of the things that you want to make sure that you do with your French press is just give it a good stir. And you want to just make sure all the grounds are mixed in really well. On the top of your coffee, while you're stirring it, you should see a few little bubbles. That's good. It means you're getting everything mixed in there well. There we go. And then what we're going to do is this is our plunger. And on the bottom, you're going to see it has a little area screen and another little screening on the inside. And right now, we're just going to set this into the top because it needs to perk or steep a little bit before we push that plunger in. So I'm just going to set this here. It needs to sit for about 4 to 5 minutes, depending on how strong you would like your coffee. So we're going to sit this over here and we're going to taste that here in a few minutes. But we're going to make another drink. So in this cup, we're going to do something. The other thing about coffee is it's amazing cold, right? People make coffee cakes. They use their cold coffee to use as the liquid in that coffee cake. So we've got some ice in the bottom of this glass. And then, because I am Canadian, we're going to use a little bit of maple syrup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add probably about a teaspoon of maple syrup to this. And this is where it's sort of like a fun cocktail, everybody. So I'm going to take my Canadian whiskey, and this is called Crown Royal. So it's very well known around the world whiskey, but this has a vanilla flavor in it. You can use the regular whiskey. We're not going to put much because it's morning, but depending on the afternoon, if you want to have a little fun, we're going to put a little bit of vanilla whiskey in there. And then what we want to do with this drink, and it's so simple. Let me find, I had a cinnamon stick here. We've got a cinnamon stick. We're going to drop that in. So we've got a nice cinnamon stick in there. And now I'm going to pour, and I made some cold coffee yesterday in my French press. And what we're going to do is take the nice cold coffee, and you can just put it in anything really. And there we go. You have yourself a delicious cocktail. Now you can leave the whiskey out, but there's a fun blend of a whiskey, and it's delicious. And I have to say, when I first made this, I was using regular whiskey, but I think I really like it with the vanilla flavored whiskey. And just be careful because it doesn't taste like alcohol, but certainly a fun sunny afternoon cocktail with using iced coffee. So Christina, I see you're back. And I think my timing was perfect because just before you go, I'm going to push this
Yes,
through
I
French
just
press.
finished with the coffee layer. So you see, the first layer is the coconut and then milk. So the next layer is coffee. It smells amazing. I love it. It smells so much. And because so we can make and then another layer with condensed milk. So it will mixture with many different layers. It smells so good, Michelle.
And how long does
Yeah.
it have to sit before it gels? How long does it have to be
It
refrigerated?
should take about 20 to 30 minutes to stick together. Yeah, 20 or 30 minutes.
That's it?
Yes, that's it. And then it's that. But it's really amazing, believe in me. It's really beautiful, and many people when they they have relative. They also make many different type of color, or you can use like food color or some like we have some. I mean, like something to make like a cake, a birthday cake. They, yeah, we can decorate with a cherry. And in Canada, I don't have those work to make it. So we just make the simple one, but it's also very beautiful. And the
I can
smell of
already
coffee is
taste it.
amazing. Yeah.
And it looks perfect. And that's because the gel.
Yes.
Christina, I'm going to get Christina to send me that recipe afterwards so that we can publish.
Yes.
So that people know that you can go get these gels and these things, especially in some of the bigger cities where we have a lot of access to international products coming in. So I think it's been around 4 minutes. Here's our beautiful French press. And I'm just going to hold it up. You can still see the foam on the bit on the top. And I can see the coffee floating through it. So what we're going to do, and this is the important thing about a French press, is we're going to push this down, but we're going to push it down. There it goes. Very slowly. And you don't want to push this really fast because our goal right now is to push down to the bottom the grinds that were floating. And if you notice the way that the plunger, it's called, worked, it had a very flat bottom. So I think I'm at the bottom. I don't think I can press anymore. And what I'm going to do, even though I'm going to put this into my coffee cup, I'm going to pour a little into this glass so that you can see. And now it's got our spout and everything on it. And as you see, the coffee still comes through. And then you've got a nice, perfectly clear coffee. Now, my coffee I was having earlier is getting a little low. So I'm going to take this coffee cup out and I'm going to fill the rest of this in. And I think I measured that just right. We're going to set that off to the side. And then it doesn't sit on a burner or anything. I just want to remind everybody of that. You can buy them that are made to stay warm, but this would be a coffee that you would want to drink up. My particular pot wouldn't be able to go onto the stove. So we're going to set this over here. And do you want a coffee?
Someday we'll have tea.
So this is what I was just going to say to you. One of the things that Mom likes to do, she loves her tea. A fun thing, and this is a nod to our Irish friends. A lot of people like to make specialty coffees all around the world. And remember yesterday, Mom, at the store, I almost bought, there's a non-alcoholic version.
Oh, yes.
Because many people like the flavor of Bailey's. So I think that that's a global coffee in Bailey's traditional. It is the morning, so I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of my coffee because I love the flavor of it. I'm going to show them that one.
Oh.
Mom's finding all my fun tools here. The other thing, Mom, that's a good one because you love those chocolate bars.
I do.
So we're going to get Mom to show one of her favorites. So I also have a cinnamon stick in my coffee. So that's a really great and fun way to add a little health to your coffee. And you can just, it'll sink to the bottom, but then it adds just a nice extra flavor. So Mom's going to show one of like what are her favorite chocolate bars?
Yeah,
For the
well,
person who doesn't like coffee.
yeah, coffee crisp. And this was my mother's favorite bar too. I had to go to the store and she's picked me up a coffee crisp. Anyway, they're all good. These are just the little miniature ones, but you can buy the big ones. And they're really good. They're crispy on the inside.
Right? So let's get one of these out. This is a chocolate bar that many people come from United States or they're visiting from other places in the world. And they're made by Nestle.
Yeah.
But it's very Canadian. This coffee crisp bar, I'm going to have to check. Shinobu, did you try one of these when you were in Canada?
No, I have never eaten.
Oh,
Well, there's another reason for me to visit
Very
Shinobu, Japan.
disappointment.
So I'm going to break this open. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
You see the inside? Hopefully you can see that. Oh, you can smell the coffee. Here, eat it.
oh, and there's little wafer bars in there
Yeah, so there's some wafers on the inside of it.
with the coffee in between the wafers and then chocolate on the outside.
So they're really good. Absolutely delicious. So, and as I said, Nestle, which is a global name known around the world. But I know that these are brought into Canada and then distributed. But this is they're made in Switzerland. But I'm gonna Google that later. But you know what I just realized? Look, they're in Deutsch, English, and French. So I should have read. So these little packages, because what's coming up?
Halloween.
Halloween. And I know Christina loves her costumes, so I'm sure you're gonna have a ton of fun this year in Halloween, right? Okay, so our brownies are getting close to ready. I can tell you that it smells beyond incredible in my kitchen. Christina, do you have anything else that you're going to show us from your kitchen today before I finish off?
Um, I'm also nearly finished the third day. So I need more little time. And for the Halloween coming, the kids really excited. And we will join in your cooking club for Halloween because the kids, this is the first time the kid came to Canada and participate in the Halloween. And actually the kids had been here for 2 months only. And last time we went to the park, we also they also decorate the park with their Halloween theme. It's amazing. Yeah, and this is the first time they know about their Canadian culture to participate in some Western holiday. And really excited, Michelle. I remember last year when I was in Port Hope, I also make cute some cute Halloween food. Remember? Yeah, but this time I will join in and with the kids so that we will wear some costume and we will cook something for the Halloween.
I love it. And I always love your costumes. So I'm going to be
Yeah.
excited about what that looks like. So we've got, I was a cowgirl, Canadian cowgirl last year. I think I was a witch another year.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to see what we can get for clever. It is a very interesting North American and very much for the United States, even more so than Canada. But we have a lot of fun taking regular food and making it look creepy and scary.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a good time. So we're going to need a little oil in that pan, Mom. We're going to be, olive oil right here. We're going to fry one of those steaks up now. Those steaks are going to be really quick. They're not going to take any time at all. And I think what I'm going to pair those steaks with, I'm going to actually have this as a steak and egg breakfast because that's another great breakfast piece that goes on. But I used my French press, but I want to show everybody, this is a unique other little way for coffee. And for people that don't want to perk coffee or buy an expensive Keurig machine, this is we call it a 1-cupper. And I'm going to take the coffee filter out from earlier. So as you see here, that's the 1 coffee there. So we've got these great little filters. It fits right into our 1-cupper. And then all you need is a tablespoon of your favorite perked coffee. And then you pour your hot water through this and you will get a perfect 1 cup of coffee every time.
Pick up underneath.
These are, don't forget to put the cup underneath, my mother just said. So there would be the demonstration of how to use the 1-cupper. You pour your water in and you end up with a perfectly 1 cup. I encourage a lot of people, some people that don't have the room to have a large. These are very inexpensive. I think I paid 2 Canadian dollars for this 10 years ago. And I'm still using it. So we would say this gave me a lot of mileage.
Yeah.
And then you can buy the specific size coffee filters, but I've also become an expert. If I run out of these filters, I can use a paper towel. So thank you for reminding me of those ones, Mom. So we've got our burner on. We're going to get our steak on. It will probably only take about 4 minutes for that steak. So while the steak is cooking, I think Christina's got a couple of her last ingredients that she's going to show us. I'm really excited to see that gel and how that comes together. I know I would love it.
Yes.
And our brownies are coming out of the oven. So Christina, I'm going to mute myself and turn it over to you.
Yes. As you see, like I explained to you before, it needs about 20 minutes to get it stick together. But I put it in the fridge, so it will be faster. And this is the second layer already. And now I will make with the third layer. I'm going to cook the third layer with condensed milk and coconut cream. So when it's a little bit stick together, so we will put gently for the third layer. So we cannot wait for a long time because it won't stick together. But by this way, when it's a little bit like this, so you see three layer. Okay, so and then it will stick together. And to make it faster, I will put it in the fridge, so it will be faster. So you see the first layer is the coconut milk. It's white, and the next one is coffee, and the next one is condensed milk and coconut cream. It's amazing because coconut is also our country popular like traditional food. No, coconut is very popular in Vietnam. So coconut and coffee is a combo, perfect combo together when we make many things. We also usually make coffee coconut. Yeah. And next time I will share with you the techniques how to make coffee coconut. But this time is amazing. So you see the smell is also good and it's beautiful. It is very easy for the kids. I think I'm done, Michelle. I will take some photo for you later.
Please do. I am so impressed and thank you for pouring that layer. So we were able to see how quickly that gels. I am definitely going to be trying this recipe. And we love coconut here because that's another really big thing for Mom and I. We put coconut into a lot of things. So as we finish up our breakfast and get on with our day, I also want to give a shout out to Kurt Sausages. And I've been talking about these meats the last few weeks. And this is Kurt's in Moncton. And they do an incredible job with these. It's a meatloaf that they make. And I'm going to hold this one up because I know the fresh cracked pepper and everything. And you can see all the pepper that's inside of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice some of these slices up. And I'm going to put a little bit of this with my scrambled egg that I'm going to be having this morning with my steak and eggs. And I love the one with the pepper in it because it gives you that nice peppery flavor that comes in. So Mom's pulling the steak off and I'm just going to cut this. When I scramble these with my eggs, I just fold them in half and I cut the pieces of meat into just kind of strips, I guess we would say. Oh, and then let that steak sit for a second. The pan's still on, Mom. There we go. So we're going to run these across. And that's got a lot. I was going to put an egg in there. We think we can scramble an egg or need a different pan?
Oh, no. A little bit of coffee, fine.
Wow. I don't even know what the aroma of this steak is so amazing. And I hope you can see the color on it, right? You have a little bit darker coloring coming through and look, oh, look, coming off the side. That's probably pure coffee coming off the side of your steak. I think your son gave me those hearts for this steak. I see that. When you come to Atlantic Canada, an interesting hearty, we say hearty or hearty, Sunday breakfast is steak and eggs. So I hope that you've enjoyed our steak and eggs. Mom's, I gotta hand Mom an egg. Oh, you got one. She's already on it. Just scramble it in the corner. And it's a great way to finish off a meal. And you're starting with lots of protein in the day. And I think, you know, we go to big truck stops, as we call them, right, Christina, on the highway, and they have the best big breakfasts there. And that's where you'll frequently see steak and eggs, or at a local diner. So we hope you've enjoyed a little bit of coffee differently into your world today. Mom's gonna pull these last pieces of Michelle's breakfast plate off. Do you see the good thing I did here? My mom is cooking me breakfast.
Just like when you were 2.
Yeah, just like when I was 2. Thank you for that, Mommy. And like I said, I'm gonna put this little fun drink in and enjoy that this afternoon. And continuing to enjoy my cup of coffee. Get out and visit a local coffee shop around the city of Moncton. There are so many, but I think every small community has beautiful coffee shops. And there tend to be a lot of private owners. Get out and see them. Perfect. There we go. We're gonna put our eggs. Look at that, Mom. This is a very protein-based. Yeah, we'll put a little bit of water in that. So there we go. There's Michelle's steak and eggs with a little bit of our beef on the side. I'm going to cut into a piece of this steak so everybody can see it. And we look forward for you to come back and seeing us next week as we feature noodles. And as I said, I think I got Christina convinced to come in and show us how to make some noodles. I know you had done that on another year, Christina. Thanks, Mom. Oh, yeah. Because these were nice little fast fry steaks, remember, a very good cut of meat, but a fast fry steak. Mom cooked that absolutely perfectly. There's a little bit of pink in the middle. You get the punch of the coffee. And then with the coffee rub that was on there that has the paprika and other flavors in it. Did you help?
I took a little.
I was gonna cut her a piece and she's already finding a corner. Here you go, Mom.
It was loose. It's delicious.
Take a taste test there. Well, from our kitchens to yours here at Atlantic Canada Cooks, it's a privilege and a pleasure to let us into your kitchens. We hope we inspire you to get connected with Atlantic Canada, practice some of these recipes at home. Please sign up for our weekly newsletter. We give you a recipe every week. Our links to our YouTube channel is on there. Subscribe. I know Jawad made a really fun short last week. So we'll see you next week when we're going to have some noodly fun dishes to make. Noodles are one of my favorite things in the world. So I cannot wait to start planning what my menu is going to be next week. Christina, boys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Come on.
Thank you, Michelle. That's amazing. Who teach you learn Vietnamese?
Just a few words. You and Jacqueline.
Yeah,
A few more, right?
it's amazing.
Shinobu.
Yeah. Come on, Michelle. Come on, Michelle.
Have a
Bye.
good day.
Bye,
Thank-
everyone. Bye, Shampoo.
Hi. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your day. We'll see you next week.